Episode 84.
Episode 84.
Social distancing. Shouldn't we be 6 feet apart?
I think I went to the post office today and you had to stand in the line.
They have 6 foot
feet.
increments?
Yeah.
Man, this is bizarre. So
Yeah.
I'm telling people we're about to podcast, and I'm saying what questions do they have in quarantine, or should I say while social distancing?
Isolated.
Or in isolation.
In quarantine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, my life's not a whole lot different right now.
No, not for me really either. I stay in the barn for the most part. See you guys, that's about it. The only thing for us is we're not really training for anything.
It's kind of weird,
We went from
everything's kind of up
literally
in the air.
we were supposed to be getting ready to train tomorrow or compete tomorrow. We had all this build up, which I mean for the most part we stay pretty ready all the time.
Right.
So that's it's just weird.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, so now are we training for a sanctional or are we just training straight for the games?
So West Coast Classic would it be this weekend?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow,
yeah. So today, we should also say, hey, Elly, sorry you're not here. Elly's had some family stuff going on, so she is at home taking care of that. So, pray for Elle. And she'll be back soon, though, so we'll be good. But, so we should be at West Coast Classic. We should be in San Diego right now. But, like a lot of people, I mean, it's really a minor inconvenience compared to what's going on for a lot of people. So,
it's been crazy with the coronavirus and the tornado first.
The tornado, yeah.
So there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, it's been a rough, bizarre, I don't know even how you'd put it, couple weeks here. So we had tornado. Yeah, that's why we haven't podcasted in so long. We've had tornado disruption. We had Elly's been gone, so we just didn't feel right doing it. But now we're kind of it's been a couple weeks, so it's kind of time to get out and do something. So the tornado came through on March 2nd.
Yep.
And a lot of you guys, the Pray shirts, everything that you guys have bought, and all that money, we're about to total that up somewhere in the ballpark of probably $100,000 will go to this family. So everybody doing what they did is pretty awesome, and it's a cool to see everybody come together, support Cookeville. So man, it was.
I know you got a chance to be out kind of in the middle of it and helping some people.
Both of us, we went out the 2 days after because they wouldn't let anybody in the day after, and just walking around with chainsaws. Really, it was. I mean. Bizarre is the only term I know how to use for the last probably 3 weeks around here, with the tornado and all the damage and everything that happened. I mean, to say it looked like a movie doesn't even do it justice.
No, that's not
I cannot put into words you drive and you see nothing, then all of a sudden just everything's gone.
Yeah.
And hearing those stories and just seeing it firsthand was very humbling, kind of crazy just to hear family stories about how they didn't really know it was coming. And it was kind of a late, there was a low threat and, meteorologists didn't think there was going to be anything. And then all of a sudden it was an F4, which is one of the most strong tornadoes there can be. And it's crazy. And just to think, how many times have we rolled over and seen tornado warning or anything on your phone and just kind of ignored it, and just to see see what happened there, it's humbling.
Well, 4 or 5 families from the gym were affected.
Yep.
Something like that.
I think it's 4.
4,
maybe 5. Yeah.
It was crazy when like you said, to just kind of everything's normal, and then you drive over a hill and it looks like the only way I can describe it as a war zone. Which I don't know if that's even the right thing to say.
I've never been to war, so. But it like houses ripped off their foundation. But what's so bizarre is like house right here ripped off its foundation. Across the street, some damage.
Yeah.
It's just like complete.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like Lauren Neal, who was on the team in 15, her house completely ripped apart. Her and her boyfriend and their daughter, pulled from the house. All safe, all fine. But just to hear.
One minute they're in the house, the next minute wasn't like the daughter in the pool, the neighbor's pool?
Lauren was like, I don't know if really she was in the pool or just in the debris by the pool, but she was fine.
Wow.
And so it's so crazy. You just can't put into words, what those people went through. I mean, just to think, like you hear those stories, and then so what happened with us was I happened to get up to pee right about the same time, and so I'm kind of awake, in and out, and I look at my watch, and it was like 1:50 something. And so I see there's going to be lightning and thunder. Well, I start seeing lightning and thunder because I'm not quite asleep yet. So I'm like, man, Trice is the only one that sleeps upstairs by himself. Everybody else sleeps in our room. And so I'm like, I don't want him to get scared and freaked out and, have a bad day tomorrow because he's tired. So I'll go upstairs and kind of, if he wakes up, at least I'm there. He'll be all right. So 2:00. Go upstairs. I lay down. I'm laying down for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Still hadn't fallen asleep yet. Hillary comes in. What are you doing? It's like, trying to do the right thing here and, take care of Trice so he doesn't freak out.
Yeah.
She's like, there's a tornado warning. You need to get downstairs. And I'm like, how many tornado warnings do we have around here? Nothing ever happens.
Like all the time.
A bunch.
Yeah.
And she said, no, somebody said, Elly, her sister, just texted her and said 1 touchdown. I'm like, all right, I'll take Trice and put him in our room, whatever. But we'll watch TV and see what it looks like. So we turn on the TV and the local news. It's like, multiple tornadoes have touched down between, basically, one hit Nashville, and then multiple between Nashville and Cookeville. And it says the storm cell's right over Pfeiffer Mountain, which is where we live.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, crap. So I go outside like an idiot. And now, I'm like looking at clouds and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing the stories of like the same type of things happen where people were just like, oh, no, it's nothing. And then
Right. Or they're on their way to go to the basement or the bathroom or whatever, and then in that process,
it's just crazy. Just think how, for me, how stupid that was. For me, like.
If it would have been coming.
Yeah, could have been us. And then the craziest thing is, so there's this big one, an F4, and then a couple, like, what they call EF0s or EF1s, like, drop down in random spots. And I don't know anything about meteorology, but somebody said that what happened was the smaller one stalled out this big one and stopped it right about the time it got to the Cookeville city limits. And
I heard that. Yeah.
One of those is, that house at the bottom of the mountain right there at Cherry Creek Road?
Yep.
So I'm driving, and I'm like, oh, man, that guy must have got drunk last night and drove through his barn. Sure enough, one of those tornadoes dropped down, came right back up. It just kind of blew out the whole – it was just a metal shed.
Yeah.
And ripped off some shingles off this guy's house. And I'm like, holy crap, that was less than a half mile from our house.
Wow.
It's a straight line. So, man, just to think.
Well, it was so surreal to walk up there that you guys, the day that I was out there with you guys, that the idea was to kind of cut trees.
Yeah.
And you guys all had chainsaws and just try to kind of clear a path for who was coming behind to kind of clean up. But we did have a chance to be around some of the homeowners. Yeah. And they're just, it's like they're trying to get their stuff organized, but the truth was there was nothing really to organize. No.
And the crazy thing about the whole, like all the volunteers. We were at Hobby Lobby. There was thousands of people, and it was just chaos. Which is, when something like that happens, it's so hard to get that. You're not prepared for it. No matter what you say or anything like that, you're not prepared. And then you're not prepared when thousands of people and volunteers come out, and so. It's literally like we're walking around with chainsaws, like you said. They're like, our biggest priority today is clearing paths. Right. So we're like, heck, what are we doing? Right. And so we just happen to be walking. We find this, like, I don't know if it was a driveway, if it was a path, whatever it was. And we're like, all right, let's just start clearing that because you don't know what. Literally, you're just throwing wood pile to wood pile. Like, what are we doing? Right. And so we end up clearing a path to some older woman's house, and just to see like that truck that got that tree dropped on it. Like trees weren't just knocked over; they were completely uprooted. Like hundreds of year old trees, like as big around as this table or bigger, are just laid down, root systems and everything, like nothing. Well, that last group of trees that you guys cleared, and it was a day's worth of work cutting through all those trees, and that last group of trees. Then it was her house. Yep. And she was. There was nothing left except for kind of the kitchen area, and I spoke to her, and she told me when she heard it, she went and got under her kitchen sink, and then that's all that was left, and she crawled out a hole beside the sink. There was that car. There was a car next to those trees that was kind of crushed. Yeah. There was a girl in the car. Jeez. She helped get her out. And then they walked around over the little hill to the neighbors and got into their basement, crawled into the side of the house and sat in the basement till they quit, freaking out and being afraid, and then kind of walked out of that. Yeah. And she was just like her. And then
it was crazy because there was a bunch of kids from maybe the university, and everybody was kind of wanting to help.
Right.
But she was just like in a state of shock.
Yeah, don't know what to do. I mean,
and there was nothing left of her stuff.
There was. No.
Yeah.
So crazy.
And she was kind of trying to collect some pictures, and she had a relative there. But I mean, geez, it was just, I felt so bad.
Yeah.
You know, because how does your brain kind of start thinking about that? Even for me, like I'm so linear in my thinking, I want to start a process. Okay, so we're going to do this first, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to fix this, and
but everything's like everywhere.
That was the thing is like there's just people people walking around with chainsaws, and a lot of people like I grew up around that type of stuff, and I can use a chainsaw. But even I didn't feel comfortable in some of those situations, and seeing people just whipping around chainsaws, you're like, okay, stay away from that guy. You know, guys got. Then probably these are guys you want to hang out with. Some guys just got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, just cutting up. One guy had a pipe just hanging out of his mouth, cutting stuff. So I mean, those are probably the guys you want to be around. But it was just so crazy. Like,
there was. Oh, she had a wood chipper. This lady we're talking about had a wood chipper, and we pulled it and kind of set it up right, and we kind of walked away from it, trying to kind of push everything up in one pile. And I looked back, and there's these 3 college-age guys messing with the wood chipper. And so I went walking back over to them like, hey, guys, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, this is a wood chipper. We're going to fire it up and use it to kind of process some of the No, you're not.
We're not doing that right now.
We're not doing any of that. Put that there. Leave it alone. You guys go someplace else. Go find it. You know.
Yeah. Well,
what are we doing?
You know, about, I guess it was like 3 or 4 o'clock, sheriff deputy comes up. So I was kind of with my brother-in-law, Austin. We kind of had our group.
Yeah.
But me and Austin were just kind of moving around one thing to next, and he works for Corps of Engineers, and so he had been to Puerto Rico. So he'd kind of been in that environment, so we were just kind of going from, and we ended up linking up with these guys that had some heavy equipment. So we're helping them doing whatever. Well, the sheriff's deputy comes out. He's like, all right, they're requiring all volunteers to evacuate. And we're like, what? And he's like, yep, all volunteers, unless you have heavy equipment. So some of the guys we knew that had heavy equipment, they're like, you guys stay with us. You're part of our group or whatever. But because it just got to be where there were so many people that you couldn't move the heavy equipment because, you know, people are just kind of rummaging. And like Tasia and Haley were saying, they're like going through stuff and, you know, they're picking through stuff, trying to help.
Sure.
And then this big machine would just come through and get it all,
you know,
they
something
they've been doing
for like
an hour and a half.
Yeah,
so,
the machine comes in, does it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's that type of thing. But it was cool to see just how many people were wanting to help.
Yeah,
you know?
everyone come together.
With good intentions.
For sure.
So
I think like to have that many people show up because Hobby Lobby and everything surrounding that parking lot was just packed with people.
Yeah.
To have that many people show up and care says a lot about the community, and I was really impressed with that.
Like,
and
you know, we had a bunch from Mayhem. Matt and Tia were out there. I mean, they weren't even from here, so it's cool to see them out there. And you know, we had probably at least 15 of us from Mayhem all in the back of my truck and a couple other trucks because instead of taking the bus, because they were bussing people over, unless you had a couple chainsaws and more people, then you could ride yourself. And I was like, I ain't riding on a bus.
Man.
It was cool to see everyone come together. Like, we were in Australia and we felt awful because we're trying to compete, but we also wish we were here. But it is cool to see in those kind of situations, like, it does bring out the best in people.
Yeah.
Even if there's too many people, it's like at least everyone wants to come together and help. That's really cool to see people being selfless. Like
I hate it that it like takes that, but it's really kind of human nature though. But I am excited and happy that that's kind of who we are as people.
Right.
That when something like that does happen, people really will step up.
Right.
They're not just walking over, not paying attention. There were a ton of people that were out there trying to help out. Somebody said that there was that day that they told you guys that you had to stop, that they found a body.
See, I think that was a rumor.
That was a rumor?
How rumors just go, I think.
Not a body, not an old...
Oh, yeah, they did find a decomposed skeleton out there while they were trying to clean up some of the stuff. And part of the problem was, so you'd have these heavy machines, like, they hadn't really secured the area. So they wouldn't allow anybody in the day after because, I mean, with those type of deals, you're still searching for bodies.
Right.
And something happened, I guess, where a pile of some stuff got moved, and there was somebody still in there, and that type of deal. So they had to, basically, every equipment operator had to have a first responder on it, or like a firefighter on it, and then also somebody that was emergency medical trained. So, I don't know. It was just like
interesting.
That was the deal, and so that's why they made everybody leave. So
that first house we were working at, after everybody had kind of cleared all the debris away, and then we started getting down to the next layer of the actual stuff in the house.
Yeah.
It actually had been the garage. And the lady who had come over, she was really nice, and she wasn't that freaked out. She was just like, man, if you find anything that's valuable. And so there ended up being a ton of Barbie dolls.
Oh, really?
And a ton of G.I. Joe type Barbie dolls, a ton of them, hundreds of them. So we just started picking up Barbie dolls and putting them in a box because there was Barbie dolls laying there. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
A lot of car parts and stuff, whatever kind of was in the garage. Yeah. But your brain's trying to be like, well, I don't know if she's going to want these or not, but I don't know. So pretty soon there's a giant box of Barbie dolls right there.
Could you imagine everybody just going through your stuff though?
No.
Yeah.
Like,
that's pretty crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, because we went to help Lauren, and her somebody found one of her pictures a couple miles away.
Mm-hmm. I heard that.
Crazy. And we ended up finding her swim cap. They found her games medal, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
So, but I mean, her house, I'm telling you, obliterated.
Wow. That was the first person that Kristin was concerned about, my wife, because she knew her house was out there.
Yeah, that was the tough part. It's you're trying to wrap your brain around, who is out there. So maybe we try to get Lauren on there on here and talk.
Yeah, that'd be interesting
Coach
to hear
Chaffin,
her.
My baseball coach, who's been on here, he was out there. His
that
house
was pretty
got
crazy. There was multiple people around where his house that passed away.
Yeah.
He was pretty. When you were hugging him, he was pretty tore up.
He's tore up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody, just talking about the things that they saw or heard after the tornado. The tornado was hard enough, but then you see and hear things. I can't imagine.
Wow.
All right, enough depressing stuff.
Okay.
We got questions from the audience. Let's just go through them, straight through them, instead of sifting.
Okay.
You're just gonna
I'm just gonna let them talk.
Let's
see what happens.
Okay, here we go.
I like it.
All right, we got favorite kind of wrist wraps. I don't really like wrist wraps.
Wrist wraps.
Oh.
Wrist.
I've never had a favorite brand.
I used to like the the Rogue elastic ones. I did that for a little while, and then I did the cloth ones that you'd wrap and tie. I used those. I don't use those at all anymore. I use sweatbands to keep sweat off. My wrists do pretty well, actually. The less I started wearing wrist wraps, the stronger I feel like my wrists got.
Yeah.
I'll use them if we're doing a ton of overhead stuff, like a bunch of overhead squats. I feel like that wears on my wrist a little bit, but usually I just take 2 rounds of tape, and I'm good.
I've got those Rogue ones.
Yeah.
And every now and then when we're doing something that's a little heavier, I'll put them on, but it's probably just in my mind.
Yeah.
What do you consider your best movement? This may be hard. Oh, because you win at all movements. No, I don't. My best movement, I don't really have a best. I'm not really the best at anything. Kind of just decent at a bunch of stuff. My favorite's probably snatch. I like to handstand walk. So those things are usually pretty. I like them. Double unders for UKM.
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm the best at anything.
Really fast at double unders. Burpees.
I was going to say, I've never seen anybody on the planet burpee as fast as you can burpee.
I've never seen anybody double under as fast
Depending
as
on what else is in there.
We did that maybe a year ago. We did some burpee workout in the barn.
Yeah, crushed it.
And you just obliterated whatever was going on.
What's your favorite?
My favorite? I like to climb rope.
Dude.
That's something I feel like I'm good at, so
I really
like to
legless.
Do that. You like legless?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my heart rate's not as high as they are with regular rope climb.
Watching you guys, you and Dre climb rope, that's about as fast as it gets too. That's
sometimes my heart rate's not too high. That workout we did the other day was nasty. The sled push rope climb one is good.
What event was it at the games where you guys had rope climbs when Dre was on the team?
Was it all 4 of us going at the same time?
I think so.
Rope climbs?
Maybe. Because, god dang, man, he can get his feet on that rope in a hurry.
Yeah, it was probably there was a 4-person synchro rope climb. We all had to be together at the top, then you would come down. Best bodybuilding exercises? Becoming better at muscle ups? I don't really know if that's...
things.
Bodybuilding for becoming better at muscle ups?
Yeah, obviously you need to work on your grip, so anything that works the forearm or the biceps, because you got to work on the pull, and then pressing stuff, but you got to have that transition. I wouldn't say any body, but if you're getting better at strict pull-ups and strict ring dips is probably going to get you better at muscle-ups, but then you have to also have that transition.
Yeah, all those kind of drills on the rings, with them low.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff for that. Isolation, dreary weather, favorite body weight workouts for indoors. Man, there's a lot of them. I did a couple this last, when was it? when I was in Dubai, I did a couple just because I couldn't get to the gym the second time, and we were still kind of training for London. So, I mean, M30, it's free right now.
I was going to say,
so
tell
check
everybody.
that out. Tasia does a good job of programming all those, but there's a bunch of workouts like that. I would say check in at 4 o'clock because we're going to do a live stream of it, but
this won't be out today.
You can only choose one concept to machine. What would it be? That's tough. That's I go through like spurts of which one I like the best. I feel like I'll overuse one. Like I did a 1 hour bike erg today, and it sucks. Honestly, I think my favorite right now is the bike erg because it's pretty versatile. It's a really good warm up tool. It kind of spikes the heart rate. You can stand on it and kind of pump the legs. You can sit on it and, you know, go fast with your legs. I mean, it's pretty versatile. It's not total body though. I mean, a rower is probably your most versatile because it's total body, legs and arms. Ski erg is more upper body. They're almost like, you know, you got ski ergs up here starts with upper body, road transitions to total body, and then bike erg is all lower body. So, 6 one way, half dozen the other. Like I said, I go in spurts. I think they're all incredible machines and a very valuable tool to have. You can do so many different things with them. Yeah. But if I was to only have one, so the bike erg you can run if you had to get the kind of mostly leg stuff. You could swim to get your mostly upper body with the ski. So I'd have to say probably a rower, right?
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just my I mean, it's also the original. I do really like all three though. It's hard for me to really just choose one.
I bought Kristin an Echo bike.
Did you?
Yeah. And I really like that.
Yeah, Echo Bike's really good. I mean, the new assault bikes have gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
They're all I mean, we've got all of them just in case because we compete.
Right.
And it could be on any of them, but I like them all.
What about you?
I go back and forth too. Like I think the bike erg's awesome because I use it all the time to warm up too. But like you said, then it's all lower body.
Yeah.
I just don't really like rowing, so I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But I know that's like the best, like you said, the best like total body. And then I do like skiing a lot. It's really hard for me, so I think that would be like a good one for me personally to have. I don't know. It's cool to have multiples too, because then you can mix up the like cardio intervals and not just do one like we've been doing. And I think that's
like really affordable actually.
Yeah,
to get those machines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's affordable and to have that around, man.
It's a huge, you know, like you can go to like if you had each of those at the house and you know you went to a CrossFit gym, did your normal stuff, and then if you wanted to like every morning or every night do an extra interval session to build some cardio or some endurance, they're great to have. So
Kristin can do just about anything now. She's got the dumbbells.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything with the bar.
Right.
But man, it's crazy. It's just she can do anything from the house now.
Actually, really, it's not on here, but the assault runner is really good too, especially for like what I've been doing is, you know, with this time of year especially, and even when it's super hot out, the assault runner allows you to still run. And a treadmill, I feel like I don't get the same stimulus, but the assault runner, having to actually work and run on it, and it's actually been easier on my knee. So I've been trying to run twice a week, one time on the assault runner, one time flat ground, and it seems to have helped actually. So I feel good running. So I hate running, but there it is. Does the show go on for you guys training wise? Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. I don't really know what we're training for. Life, zombie apocalypse, where we're headed right now. But yeah, I mean, these sanctionals keep getting pushed back, and I don't, it's for us. It's like, are we training for the games in July? If all these sanctionals are going to get pushed to June, there's no point in us doing a sanctional in June if we're competing in July since we're both qualified.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just trying not to kill each other, trying not to kill ourselves. We were joking around. Do you remember Tommy Boy?
Yep.
Like
I remember him. He's a friend of mine.
When he's talking about the pet. And he's got that roll, and he's like, my pretty little pet. I feel like that's me, where I'm like, hey, guys, let's work out. And then it's just like, kill everybody. That's me.
Well, it's kind of like it was in the old days now, because like if you'd have qualified at regionals, you'd just be working out for the games right now.
Yeah, but that was usually in May.
Yeah.
It's March.
Yeah.
It's like it's like if we qualified
Yeah.
for the games in the Open, like a lot of people have. It's just weird. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to stay motivated, but then I think I'm really lucky that I'm here right now, because if I was anywhere else, like I wouldn't have access to equipment to work out, and like so like there's that. That's really good too, and also like we already talked about, like my life is kind of like the same right now. I just go home when I'm not working out. So.
Well, we didn't talk about you guys getting you got qualified, but then you went to Australia
and won there, so you're double qualified.
How was that?
I feel really lucky that we did that.
Yeah, because
now that all this is happening,
all these other teams, it's like they're going to be.
Wow, I hadn't really thought about it like that. So Mayhem and Freedom and Independence are both qualified.
Yeah.
And if nothing else happens,
how many teams are qualified at this point? Like 8,
5 or 6,
9?
something like that. Maybe 8 or 9. I don't know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's tough.
What'd you think of Australia?
I loved Australia.
Yeah.
It was fun. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Will you video your turkey hunts this season? I don't know. I never really thought about it. I need to this year, since we're not really training for anything.
Maybe go turkey
try to hit it pretty hard this year because I haven't the last couple of years with the kids being so small, but they're now a little bit older to where I feel like I could sneak out there in the woods a little bit more. So I'm actually really looking forward to that, just getting out in the woods a little bit, disconnecting. I don't know if we'll video it. I don't know how. Maybe we'll do a separate Mayhem YouTube channel, because you know how a lot of people get about.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
That way they can choose to follow if they want to follow or not.
So they don't have
Mayhem
to see
Outdoors. How about that?
I like
Mayhem
it.
Outdoors YouTube channel.
There you go.
So it's at your own discretion if you want to see a turkey die.
If you want to see it, you can see it. If not, you won't have to see it. Have you ever heard about the carnivore diet? Joe Rogan loves his 30-day stint. I've heard about it. I listened to the Rogan podcast with it. Kristin, you ever thought about that?
What'd you say?
You ever thought about doing the carnivore diet?
I have, actually.
Just for like 30 days, see what happens?
I thought you were asking at first if I'd heard about it, and I have.
Yeah.
For sure. They just eat strictly meat, right? Like literally
just all
no
meat.
vegetables or anything?
Yeah.
I've heard him talk about it, and he tried it for a month as a test.
Did he only eat ribeyes? Because isn't that like the deal? Or
well, he's hunted a ton.
Yeah.
So he had elk, and he ate eggs.
Okay.
And then meat, and once his body got through the transition, kind of being messed up and you know having your bowels completely freaked out, he said he feels phenomenal. He said he doesn't know what it means for the future.
Right. Blood work? Did he blood work before and after?
He did both blood work. I haven't heard him talk about the blood work after.
Oh, okay.
But I think that one thing that people out there are talking about, anybody who has some sort of autoimmune kind of a thing, or skin issues, it clears all that up. And it's like an elimination diet, right?
Right.
I mean, you start eliminating everything, and then you kind of
then adding stuff back.
You start adding stuff back. So
it just makes me think of. Have you seen that meme where it's like it shows the store shelves at grocery stores and all the bread's gone, and said, "Tell me about that gluten allergy you had now."
Yeah.
And everybody's eating all the bread. Who's going to survive in the battle of the kids? Oh, somebody said my money's on. They said Harper, but on Violet, I would assume. So Violet's probably the toughest of our 3 kids. She's the silent assassin, as we call her. She just takes a lick and keeps on ticking. She's kind of the enforcer. If Trice starts whining, she'll run up to Trice and just shove him.
Yeah?
I've seen her knock him down a couple times.
She doesn't whine, really, does she?
No, not much. She's pretty. She asks, "What's this?" over and over, even if you tell her, "What this? What this?" It's a water bottle. "What this?" It's a water bottle. "What this?" And I'm like, it's like we joke that she's like on repeat all the time because she says, "Where's Trice? He's sleeping. Where's Trice? He's sleeping. Where's Trice? He's sleeping."
She doesn't believe you guys.
No, she's like,
skeptical.
"You're lying, liars."
It's like she wants more details. She just doesn't know how to ask for it. Well, when's he getting up?
Yeah. Where's Trice?
Why is he not out here?
Exactly. That's probably she's just asking multiple things. It's just the same thing. Never thought about that. I'll tell Hillary that because she's like, "I think something's wrong with her."
No. She just doesn't know how to ask the rest of it, probably.
No. What mainstream sport would you go pro in? Ping pong, bowling, or ultimate frisbee?
Okay, I have a question after that.
Is CrossFit kind of a
what
non-mainstream
are the options again?
sport?
Ping pong,
bowling.
Ping pong, bowling, or ultimate frisbee? Probably ultimate frisbee for me because it's more like football than anything.
Yeah.
I can catch a frisbee pretty well, throwing it decent, but like it'll go. It just doesn't always go exactly. Like,
is that a sport?
I'm not gonna be like chucking it off in left field or anything.
Yeah. Is that a sport?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Why is that not a sport? Ultimate Frisbee's a sport.
Is it? Okay. I
More
don't
of a
know. I don't know
sport
anything
than
about it.
Bowling.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that would be more fun, at least.
Ultimate
it's a team
Frisbee's
thing,
almost
too.
like football.
It is.
You just have
it'd
to
be fun
stop
to play.
and catch it.
Yeah.
I think it's still an athletic sport.
I think I'd have to be a bowler probably. I feel like I
suck
could
at bowling.
I feel like I could get pretty good at that.
It hurts my shoulder.
Yeah?
I don't know why. Yeah.
I don't know how to bowl.
I don't know.
I don't do it right. I don't hold the fingers thing right. I try to
twist
spin
it and it hurts my elbow
Yeah,
and my
I don't know
wrist.
what's going on there.
So then
And
I
your
just throw it
fingers
as
get
hard as I
stuck.
can, and that doesn't work. Usually it ends up with like a 7-10 split. How to stay motivated to eat well and keep moving. For me, the keep moving's easy because like we talk, it's part of my B. It's who I am. The eating well part, that's a different story. If you see yourself getting fat, that's a good way to keep eating well.
Yeah.
Or if you don't feel so well when you eat. So I just sent off my Viome. I had to actually scoop my poop.
Oh, did you do it?
Yeah, I sent it off. It was the most disgusting thing
Did you
I've
have to
ever done.
poop on a piece of paper?
Yeah. In the toilet. It like catches in the toilet and you're afraid it's going to
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, see, because Tasia told me she did this and it really helped her.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking you put a piece of paper on the floor.
No. Like a
Oh
dog.
my
Like one of these try to hit it.
No. So they give you, basically they give you 2 pieces of this toilet paper. It's not toilet paper. Because none of that's left.
Yeah.
Toilet paper. So it's like shaped kind of like a bowl, and it has these arms, like paper arms that have tape. And you tape it, but you got to let it sag a little bit because it can't be completely flat.
Yeah.
Or else when you poop, it would
pile up,
which it already piles. It's the most because it doesn't. You don't realize how much it helps when your poop goes in the water versus if it's out in the air. Like, you never once in a while you poop and it comes out of the water and you're like, man, that's awful. Well, then now the whole poop's out of the water. It's disgusting.
That sounds like a whole process.
And so then they give you this vial, and it has a little spoon, like tiny little spoon on it. I can't even equate it to anything because it's
like
tiny.
a Baskin Robbins,
and it's
like
like
a
Chester
bubble
spoon.
thing?
Yeah, and it's like grab some of your poop, grab a spoonful, but not a heaping spoonful. You're like,
what does that mean?
Am I getting too much shit on the scoop? Like, what's going on? And so then you have to screw it back on, and then you have to shake it vigorously for 30 seconds.
So make sure the cap
Let
is
it
on
sit
tight.
for 30 seconds. Shake because it has this like stuff, and now it's just poop water.
Oh.
It's disgusting. So.
And the idea is to be able to eliminate
your
foods
gut health. So it tells
I'm
you
gonna do that
basically
too.
it goes through your biome, your gut biome, and
That's a good idea.
But it's crazy
like
because it tells you,
catchphrase right now,
things that cause inflammation. You'd think like anything healthy would be fine. Like,
No,
but like
Tasia
broccoli,
can't eat anything
cauliflower.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
she told me she was eating like red peppers or
can't eat any of
peppers
that.
and
Literally
things
things
that,
she ate every day.
she cut coffee out, which she
Yeah.
didn't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
It's
back.
weird. Yeah, it's weird. So I'm interested to see. I probably will get it back, and it'll tell me all the things I shouldn't eat, and I'll still eat them. So.
Did you look at your inside tracker results?
Yeah, I looked at my inside tracker stuff. All my cholesterol, triglycerides, all that stuff came way down. So I think that might actually be me cutting out milk and a lot of dairy that I was eating. It's just unfortunate.
Which is what you really like. You
I
like
know,
the
but,
milk and the dairy.
I've found some almond milk's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's at least a viable. They make a banana almond milk. If you mix it with Advocare's vanilla whey protein,
Pretty good.
whew, yeah, I can drink that.
My inner age went up again.
Mine went down, 22.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm like at 67.
Yep, you're at risk.
Tasia and Rich just keep getting younger.
Younger. We
Their
feel
age.
older, but we get young. Actually, I feel good. My knees feel good. Everything feels great right now. Tasia, on the other hand, every other day, she's like, I think I'm falling apart. So Wanda shows up.
She's on the edge right now.
She's like literally, I think this whole coronavirus thing too, I think the more stress she gets, like everything starts hurting more for her. Which I can't say much. When I get stressed, my back is just, I'm like an old man. I'm like, oh, my back. Oh, my back. So, best books on programming and how do you program? I don't think there are any. I've never read a book on programming. I went to the CrossFit Level 1. It's a great course if you ever get a chance to do that. They talk about it at the Level 1 and Level 2 on how to program. It's a little bit different, in the way we program. We're programming for professional athletes, but we also program for, everybody every day. So what's kind of cool with what we get to do is we test everything before we give it to other people for the most part. Unless you're following What's Rich Doing, then you're right there with us and you're doing everything we do. But all of our other programs are, they've been Monday morning quarterbacked and kind of sifted through and made sure everything's right before giving it to other people. So
I think that's the best part of it. You
trial and error.
Well, I mean, you have a ton of experience. You've been doing it for a long time, and I like this idea of you do it all.
Yeah.
That's not a lie.
Yeah.
You're doing it all, and then you're scaling it. So find your lane, get in there.
Yeah.
Do what's right for you.
We've kind of have from the beginner to the elite, top of the top. So
you're having a chance now to do some more programming, like you're programming other events, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
and
I haven't programmed since Dubai, but that was a lot of fun. But then, Battle of the Barbells in Nashville, we're talking about doing that one. And then BCS in
Texas in
August, we're doing that. So
that's kind of cool.
Mayhem for Mustard Seed, which is tentatively right now June 6th.
Yeah.
We'll see. In 2 weeks, we're going to have to make a decision on whether that happens in June or happens in August, or October. So, the coronavirus.
Wow.
Yeah. So, are rest days necessary on a diet of home workouts? Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you're hitting workouts hard enough with intensity, and it just depends on how people feel. Like if you feel like you need a rest day, like Kristin and Tasia feel like they need rest days on Sundays. Most of the time, they take full rest days, or even Thursdays, we take a lighter day where I feel better if I work every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just kind of a personal opinion and personal preference, my opinion.
Yeah, like I think the whole diet thing and then what your body needs is really subjective.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention to what you need.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why that my inner age was so high. Because it's saying that I'm overtrained.
Oh, your cortisol levels are way
my
high.
cortisol levels are way up
too.
And I think it has to do with some stress stuff too. But you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, for sure. That's what's kind of cool about getting those tests. Tasia was not going to do the test because she's afraid of needles. And we were swimming, and I was like, hey, if you get over there before me, because she was finishing up, her and Haley went earlier, I said, let them know I'll be there in a little bit. She goes, well, I don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I said, why? She goes, well, because I don't really use any of the information anyway. And I'm like, Tasia, yes, you do, one. Yeah. And two, it's a free physical. Yeah. Why would you not do it? Because they do it for us, in trading for some social stuff. So it's like, why would you not do it? You'd be stupid not to take the advantage.
Even though when I get it back and I see all the stuff that's wrong, I'm like, wow. I felt good.
I am falling apart.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Untitled Chapter. They do a really good job.
They
with
do
great
awesome.
job. I think it's really cool how they, what I think the cool, and I mean, obviously you could do this with other things, but what I like about it is we have now 4 tests. Mm-hmm. And so there's graphs telling you, hey, this, and so you can look at the time of the year, what was going on. Maybe, like my first test, so when we first had Violet and no sleep, no, diet was probably crap. And so just to see how everything's, and I've actually, used some of the stuff and implemented it, and it's
I actually thought that was cool to see it over time.
Yeah. It's kind of
and I send those out to the doctor that I'm working with so that they have them. And
that's
great.
Awesome
too.
Makes it easy.
It's cool to look through all the information, and they do a good job of explaining things too. Like you can look at it like 5 different ways.
Right.
And, I remember I didn't take this last one, but before that, like you click on whatever the value is, and you can read about what it is. So you don't you can Google it separately, but
like hey, it says do this if you want to bring it down, or eat these if you want to bring it up, which is kind of cool.
Totally.
There were some food suggestions on there.
Yeah,
they kept chia seeds. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like from a chia pet? Is that where you get chia seeds? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You can get chia seeds like anywhere.
Joke.
It's like you can just throw them in your oatmeal.
She didn't get it.
I don't know. From a chia pet. Did you not hear that? Listen, God dang it. I think I'm funny.
Yes, I had a chia pet.
I put the other day that little GIF on the athlete feed.
On the phone?
No.
With the buttons? Sorry.
And nobody laughed.
Which one was it?
The one about making toilet paper out of cauliflower. I got nothing.
It was good.
No one even responded. I
don't ever respond.
I thought that was funny.
Elly is the only person that goes on and likes everything.
And I thought that was just like a courtesy like, because Elly's sweet to everybody.
It was good. She just likes everything.
You can't find toilet paper around here.
No.
I went on
I was
Amazon
just at the
and had some
today.
shipped
There's still
in.
No toilet paper.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, we're down
and that's not even one of the symptoms of this.
I know.
Right.
Okay.
You're not going to have explosive diarrhea, people. Save some toilet paper.
Save
the trees.
This is like a frustration I have right now too. I eat the same things all the time. Like I always eat like oatmeal. I had to buy like little tiny things of like organic oatmeal because everybody bought oatmeal. I'm like, you never eat it. Why?
My thing is when this is all over and all that food is wasted and all their money's wasted. Ha! That's what I say.
There was some lady at Dollar General, some old lady trying to get toilet paper, and the lady before her took 4 or 5, and it was down to the very end, and I witnessed this, and she wasn't going to give the old lady any of the toilet paper.
What?
And I'm walking down the aisle, and I'm going to take some of that toilet paper and give it to the old lady. And another gentleman in front of me did it. He reached over and just took some from her and handed it to the older lady. And the lady was like, I was here first, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, I don't care.
I don't care.
She's like 74 years old. She should have some toilet paper.
One set of toilet paper.
Yeah.
She probably poops once every 4 days.
Right.
Just let her have some toilet paper.
I just went on Amazon and ordered a bulk box.
Did you? Was it there? Could you get it there?
It's supposed to be here tomorrow. It was like...
I need to do that. I guess that's what...
I
went to the grocery store the other day, and I was like, well, everybody's hoarding the toilet paper. I guess I'll just get... we need some toilet paper.
Right.
I wipe a lot of asses around my house.
Yeah.
And there was none.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, I'll have 87 rolls. Supposed to be here tomorrow. So you let me know.
You shouldn't be giving that information out, Jim.
Well, yeah. Listen, I will kill you if you come into my house looking for toilet paper. No, I'm just kidding. If you need toilet paper that bad, show up to my place.
Jim's handing out toilet paper like Halloween, but you have to come dressed up and say trick or treat.
Yes.
Address is no. Do you think the games will end up getting canceled too, or is it too? Man, I don't know. Is it far enough out to stay? I don't know. And so that's one of the dilemmas we're saying is, if they do cancel the games, but some of these sanctionals get moved, and it's like, do we try to compete at those just to have some competition for this year, so this year's not a complete wash, and one, get some exposure, 2, be there for fans, 3, get paid. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's our job.
What about all the sporting events that are canceled?
It's so bizarre. Did you see the meme? I thought it was funny. I know there's so many memes going around, and a lot of them inappropriate, but it's really funny.
But funny.
The one was like NHL cancels the or suspends season. 2 hours later, Canadian finds cure for coronavirus. I thought it was pretty good.
Tom Brady to the Patriots, to the Tampa Bay. Did you see that?
Yeah, to Tampa Bay. I think at first I was like, seriously? One, Tampa Bay's jerseys are awful.
Yeah, they look horrible.
Terrible, the new jerseys. But that team offensively pretty solid. If you look at it, like at first I was like, no. And then I'm starting to read and watch. And basically, Jameis Winston, they lost, I forgot, I don't know the numbers, Tampa Bay fans are going to get mad at me, but they lost 5 or 7 games. They're a lot like the Lions where they lost 5 or 7 games by a touchdown or less.
Right.
Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions.
30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. And
had like 12 fumbles.
Right.
So think about Brady last year with 24 and whatever he had, touchdown to 24 and 8, I think.
Right.
You just manage that team, you're going to the playoffs, maybe an NFC championship, maybe you're going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So
Interesting.
I'm a huge Brady fan. I've always just liked he's a true professional.
Yeah.
I like him.
He's just a competitor.
Just a competitor. I love that. Like Jeter. And so he's not in his prime by any means anymore. Like last year, I feel like his arm strength is still there. Everything was great, but I feel like he's just off. Like passes that he usually makes were just off and just didn't look good.
Right.
So hopefully, I don't know. But he didn't have any weapons. I mean, and then I don't know. The whole
it still says so much to me, and obviously this is complete speculation, but he could just retire, stay with the Patriots, but even at this point in his career, he's doing new things.
Yeah.
I just think that's incredible.
Yeah,
it's just like, I'm going to sign up someplace new and go someplace new and challenge myself. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, if you're not done, you're not done. He's earned that right to not be done. If a team's going to pay him and he wants to play, freaking play. If you're in need of any John Deere equipment, let me know. C Wheeler 809. I'm always in need of some John Deere equipment. We were just out on the tractor pulling some trees down. Well, cutting trees down.
What was that about?
Well, so we're going to have a south pasture and a north pasture at the house.
On the other side of the barn?
On the other side of the barn, that land we just bought. And this will be closer to the road so people could actually kind of see some bison, which would be kind of cool.
Right.
And so we're clearing out some land that we bought last year, had laid fallow for like 4 years and grown all these saplings. So we got somebody coming in and clearing that. Well, we had to clear this old fence line. And that thing's been 40 or 50 years, this fence line. Well, we pulled cut some trees down to make room for the fence, just so we didn't have to worry about trees falling on fence, because I don't want to worry about, bison getting out, because it would not be fun to try to get a bison back in to fence.
No.
And so we were like, you know, these older trees, and there's lots of trees where we're at. Like, we're not killing the environment. Don't get too caught up in that.
The giant forest.
There's trees everywhere. We're not taking down a bunch of trees, but we took down two trees that were close to the road. And so they were literally right next to the road. And so what we did is we had this grappling hook, and we chucked it up in the tree. And so what you do is you just keep tension on the tree, so as somebody cuts, the tree falls towards us instead of in the road. And so that's what we were doing.
I gotcha.
And I mean, the rope was long enough, taller than the tree, to where it didn't fall on us or anything like that. But man, that was a lot of fun. You talk about just doing stuff, you know, like outdoor
just doing
stuff,
farm stuff.
It was fun. It was a good time. Probably not the most safe thing we ever did, but hey. What do you guys do for accessory work? Buy, try, lateral raises, planks. I mean, we don't ever do – I mean, we do, like, obviously a bunch of core stuff. We don't do a ton of, like, biceps or tricep work. We'll do some single arm presses, you know, more for the core. We do a lot of side planks.
I saw you doing sit-ups with the dumbbell the other day.
Sit-ups with the dumbbell. I've started doing some reverse hypers. Like I said, my back is bugging me. And then hip extensions, that type of stuff. A lot of core stuff for accessory work, squatting, extra squatting, tempo squats. There's a lot of things we've been doing lately. Oh, man. Walk us through the day-to-day conversations with you and Hillary about retiring in 2014. I don't really know if there was a conversation. I think it was just like it was an understood that, hey, this is it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a long time ago. I don't even feel like that was a different life ago now that I've been doing team for so long. I guess who was I saw was tagged in it. Talking Elite Fitness. They did a podcast about my career as an individual, about a career as a team. I need to listen to it, see what they have to say.
It's kind of interesting to me. Like, it's kind of cool for you to have had that career and now this career.
Yeah, now this season would be, if it happens, I'll have competed longer on a team than I have as an individual.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
Sometimes, like, I had another person ask me about that the other day, and I know we've talked about it a ton, but like, I think the one thing people just don't understand the pressure. The pressure's different between team and being an individual, what you said, but just, you know, people ask me all the time, because I know you. Yeah. You know, why doesn't he go be an individual? He could still compete as an individual. Yeah. And just the mental piece, the place where you have to be is just different.
I don't want to. You know, like, I don't have that want to. Right. And to compete at the best, like, I could. Right. I mean, obviously I could because I made it through the open. Right. But I don't want to. And I don't have that, like, if you get into some of those nasty workouts and you don't have that want to,
what are you doing?
You're not going to do it.
Yeah, what are you doing?
And so, you know, on the team, I want to. I want to suffer for my teammates. I want to compete with my team. I'll do it. I have that want to. But individual, I'm just like, nah. Yeah. Just don't have it.
Yeah. So I get it.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people want to say I'm scared. Not scared. Just don't care. And I don't care that they think I'm scared.
Such a silly. It's such a silly thing to
nothing
say.
Nothing to prove.
You know.
Nothing to prove to you. Hey, I have nothing to prove to you. Back off.
Like sometimes with MMA fighters. Yeah. You know, like there was a big deal out there where Stephen A. Smith was talking about Cowboy Cerrone, and he fought McGregor. Oh, okay. And McGregor destroyed him in the first round, and and he just said all kinds of stupid stuff about him being afraid or scared or.
If you get in a UFC fight, you're not scared.
It's just stupid for people to say that kind of stuff. It really is infuriating if somebody were to accuse you or to say they just don't understand what's going on in your heart or where your mind's at or.
Don't care.
There's so many trolls out there too that just want to say something negative. No matter what you put out there, you could say nothing, and they'd.
The internet gives every idiot a voice.
There's this idea of to compete and to move is it's for sure a part of your nature. Yeah. And when people want to ask you why you can do what you can do, it's because it's in your design. There isn't any question about that. But what it takes to be in that space, you know, the way your mind has to focus to be in that space, that takes all of you. And you can't do all of you and be a husband and be a father and do all the other things that you're doing.
No way.
And nobody can.
No. It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Not possible.
Not
by
at
yourself.
That level.
By yourself.
Yeah, by yourself.
Is Elly's garden happening this year? No. No.
No seeds this year.
No seeds. It didn't even happen last year, did it?
Well, she went out there for a minute and tried to like kind of, till it up a little. No, she didn't plant anything. Remember, she was out there kind of trying to.
It's now part of the bison field, so
it doesn't even matter.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Elle. Sorry about your luck.
It is what it is.
If this COVID-19 continues, will you guys get the 2020 team title by default? That's what we said yesterday. I think we should, I think it's ours.
Yeah, why not?
If there's no games, the trophy's staying here.
Yeah.
We did win 2 sanctionals.
Yep.
So I feel like that counts. Just give it to us. We'll take it. Where has Ted been from since the games? Ted's just being Ted. He's doing a couple jobs. Been going to EMT school now.
Yeah, I talked to Ted the other day. He said he did CPR for the first time.
Like real CPR?
Real CPR on a patient. Broke a couple of her ribs.
Nice. Yep. Been there, done that.
Yep. I was proud of him. He did a good job explaining what he's trying to get accomplished.
How do you handle it?
I was proud of him.
Okay. It's tough. I mean, that's no easy task.
Yeah, for the reals.
Especially it'll mature you real fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
So he said, and I know you know this for sure, he said something that I think everybody who's new at that says, like, you get excited when you hear the tone, and then you arrive in a space where somebody's really hurting, so then you go back and you're guilty, and you're like, oh my God, why am I excited that I'm going, like I'm jazzed about this, I love this job.
Right.
And then I was just reminding him, hey, I actually had a paramedic, because I went to a paramedic who I really trusted and said, man, I feel bad about this.
Yeah.
And it was a female, and she said to me, hey man, we're arriving in spaces where people need our help.
Yeah.
And if we're not ready to show up and stand in the gap and carry the weight,
who will?
Then who will do it?
Yep.
And so, make sure that's what your mindset is. And so I kind of shared that with Ted just a tad.
Right.
And he had it locked down. So Ted's a good kid.
Ted is a good kid.
I really miss watching Ted train.
I miss having him around too.
Part of me, I'm like, man, Ted, calm down.
I miss his overreactions all the time.
That's the part where I'm like, okay.
Well, sometimes
or
when
him
it was
just
happening,
disappearing.
I was like,
your relationship with him was really cool because he was on your team.
Yeah.
And how you guys learned to work together and what all that was cool,
No, Ted. Ted's great. Ted's got a good heart.
Yeah.
What's your view on COVID? Has Mayhem closed? Has it affected your training or Mayhem's training? Man, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not.
Would you play one on TV?
Yeah, right. I slept at Holiday Inn Express last night. I'm not a politician. I think we need to be careful about it. I think we need to take the necessary precautions. I think this, isolating people, we're trying to. The problem is the number of ICU beds, everything, all that stuff. Yes, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. I think a lot of people are spreading fear and spreading lies unnecessarily and getting people worked up. We definitely need to be smart about this. It could get out of hand, and it might be. I don't know if it's out of hand. I'm not even going to pretend. But I think people are spreading fear and lies too much and preying on people in that way, and that's what is really frustrating to me. I think we're actually having a meeting in a couple minutes about maybe closing the gym down for 2 weeks just as a precautionary measure. Like, we have some older people in, and then they're saying now that it does attack some younger individuals as well. So it's just like we don't know enough about this, and so I think we're being smart and taking precautions. I think, like I said though, people are spreading fear and lies too much and preying on people, but definitely. It's not something to be overlooked for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
One of the first things that they said when the tornado hit, one of the first announcements they made was, "Hey, everybody, be careful.
Yeah,
there'll be a bunch of people showing up, who are going to come here to basically exploit you.
Yep.
And that's for sure going to happen. And this situation is no different. There are businesses and people and even stuff in the government writing stuff into the bills and all that they use it to try to get done what they want to get done. So that's for sure happening. That's not even arguable.
For sure.
So I kind of hate that about it for sure. But then the other piece, my daughter's in Seattle right now. And they've kind of got that place on lockdown.
That's the where it's hit the hardest.
Same thing in California.
I guess we should pay attention to it.
Rich, when does the Froning 2 come out? Hopefully on my birthday, July 21st.
Yeah, whatever.
We'll see. It depends on.
It's a good-looking shoe.
It's a cool shoe. It's different. It's kind of retro looking. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Tal did a cool job. Tal Short did an awesome job on it. And also somebody said, why does Rich always wear black shoes instead of any of the other color nanos?
There it
Go
is.
Irish. Yeah, I mean, I wear a lot of black socks, and most of the other color shoes don't look great with black socks. I don't know.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's whatever.
It's like Batman in the Lego movie where he's like, I only work in black or really, really dark gray.
Same with you, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all about the black.
Yeah.
And like we were saying, love these shirts.
Yeah.
You can't wear this shirt in the gym, in the barn. It would be black.
Yeah.
It'd be an all black shirt.
Yeah.
So it's tough. What type of truck does Rich have, and what all does he have on the truck? Here we go, because everybody keeps asking about it.
Might as well come out.
I have a Ford F-250. And I love it, actually.
It's a sweet-ass truck.
My grandpa worked for GM for 41 years, Silverado through and through. I loved my 17 Silverado. One of my buddies works at the Ford dealership here in town. He's like, hey, come check this out. Sweet truck. I'm like, man, I really like the F-250 look right now, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I can't stand the 2500 Silverados right now. Yeah. GMC looks way better. But I worked out a deal working with them, and so they basically took my truck on a trade, and we're working together on this Ford. And I have to say, the interior is huge. I don't understand why it's so much bigger. And actually, there's nothing really done to the truck. It's been leveled, and it has 37s on it. But, man, I like that truck a lot. It's a sharp-looking truck. It's white, black, everything on it.
More room for the kids.
More room for the kids. That's
the
big thing. You got kids, man. I need the room, and it's nice. I can't explain how much bigger it is. If you look at power for power, torque for torque, they're almost pretty similar. One has one in the other and all that. But I like the look of the F-250 right now.
And you did spend a bunch of time debating it.
It hurt me. It hurt
was
my
weeks
heart.
before you pulled the trigger.
Loyalty is one of my values, core values. My grandpa worked for GM for 41 years.
Right.
Every man has a price, I talked to my grandpa, and I tried to work with some people at Chevy, and nobody would answer me back. So if anybody at Chevy's listening, it's your fault.
Yeah.
If
it is.
You can't argue with free.
Hey, listen, you guys still have...
And it's a good freaking truck. I like it. It looks good. It's clean. It's not clean right now because my kids trash everything. But yeah, I like it. It pains me to say I like this Ford. But hey.
You still have the Vet. Everything's all right.
I still have the Vet. Yeah, my wife still has a Tahoe. So we'll see. New Tahoes are sweet. Actually, the new Yukon AT4 is sweet. So we're actually talking about figuring out what she's going to drive after this Tahoe because we're never buying a new car again with the kids because they trash everything. It's trashed.
Yeah.
It's literally, there's Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets all over my truck. I'll be grabbing something. I'm like, oh, man.
Chicken.
Lakeland put her slime or Play-Doh in the cup holder on the way back from Florida. And my sister-in-law drove it home and it sat because I was in, where was I at? Oh, we were in Miami. So my truck just sat there and it baked. And so now this blue foam, I'm just like, it's a new truck. Can't have anything nice. All right. Rich, the Mayhem Compete program is genius. Thank you. What is your education background? Exercise science is surprisingly my background. Yeah. But, that's just 10 years of learning what not to do. We've had a lot of trial and error over going on 11 years, and I appreciate it. But the Compete's pretty cool. It's fun to do. We have What's Rich Doing, and it is, like I said, it's literally what we do every day. You have Freedom Women Training, which is very similar as well. They just take what I've done and make it how you guys scale everything, scale the calories and whatever it is. And then Compete is kind of cool that I get to look at what we did wrong the week before, and I'm like, all right, how would I change that? How could I make it better? How could I make, a little bit more well-rounded or the general public, because I get a little bit psycho, like I said, with the go and watch the Tommy Boy, My Little Pet scene, and that's pretty much how I program.
That was really good.
It's pretty much how I program every day.
It's pretty funny. I don't think I've ever heard you say in a workout, we didn't do enough.
Yeah.
I've heard you say a lot, whoo, that was too much.
Yeah, over-programmed is the proper term, but yeah, that's it. What is your favorite post-exercise snack? I always go with a protein shake. Like I said, I've been drinking that banana almond milk with vanilla protein. It's delicious. The kids, and I'm not just saying this because I own the company, but the Froning Farms, those sticks or the bites are so good. Those cranberry,
I've had them. Those are very good.
Bites, so good.
Well, they're tender too. Instead of being like.
Yeah, they're good. But even those sticks aren't too. They're tender. Yeah, but usually I go with, like I said, a shake, and then you need a little bit of quick carbs. So Pop-Tart every once in a while is a good.
Yeah.
Get those carbs up a little bit. This is a good one. Mentally dealing with injuries that don't allow you to train fully. That's tough. I struggle with that. Like, I had this little back thing, and it was more of like stress induced. I'm pretty sure it was psoas. And man, it's frustrating. You just you look at all the things you can't do, maybe dwell on the things you can do and try to get better at those things, and look forward to at least you get to do something. It could be worse. Always could be worse. But yeah, it's tough. I'm not gonna say that it's not something we don't deal with, because we deal with it on the regular. It's tough when you're coming up with workouts and you're like, man, so-and-so's getting to do that, and I have to sit here and I feel bad. There's been times where you guys will run and I've had to bike, and you're just stuck in one place and you're running around and doing all that stuff. It's frustrating. Or even the other day when which that ruck yesterday we did was terrible, but Tasia had to sit on the bike the whole time, but I might have rather sat on the bike.
It stinks too, because it seems like injuries happen on stuff that I need to improve on. When I'm like, my elbows hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot skip out on legless rope climbs. So.
I know. Yeah.
You deadlift the other day.
Yeah, I did. We did cleans yesterday. It's back. I went to Todd yesterday, and he really I pretty much fixed it. So it's good. I'm happy. Granted, I don't know what we're training for, but we're training. So. Awesome. I've got quite a few questions there. Still some more. So maybe I don't know how we keep all these responses.
Yeah, you might just have to screenshot them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I think they go away.
Cool. So maybe we'll
revisit
do it again.
Yeah.
Since everybody's sitting at home. So
all the quarantine people can dig into here.
Yeah.
Are these shirts still available?
Still available. Almost. Yeah. We had, we got behind on shipping because we had a lot of people getting them, and then everything else happened. And so Jaden's getting them all shipped out now, and we've had a lot of people volunteer and help.
All the money's going to help people.
Every dime of it.
Yeah.
From these and the one Cookville shirts.
Yes.
Awesome.
Are all going to the. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that's all you should say.
So, episode 84.
That's it.
RP Strength, thank you. Inside Tracker, Finance Fuel, all you guys. Peace.